So, good evening. Good evening. We are back again. And yes, we are a lot later than originally planned. That was my doing. I went out on Friday night and Saturday was a write-off. Appreciate both of you two lads swerving it to today. Big up to everybody who's waiting as well. Jez, how you been, mate?
I mean, good. I'm still fuming. I'm still angry. Still upset. My favourite cup competition, we're out again. Third round. Disgusting. Fed up. I could say so much, but I won't. And there's one point we will come on to about one person that was picked in that team last night. I've been thinking about it. Such a bad choice. But I'm getting to the point of where do we go? Because it seems to me every road we go down, it's now becoming a dead end. I've got absolutely no faith that we're going to get into the Carabao Cup final with what squad we've got at the moment. It just proves we do not have strength and depth in this club. Man City can field two teams. Liverpool probably a team and a half. Chelsea a team and a half. We're lucky if we can field a proper team. And that is a very sorry state of affairs for Arsenal Football Club. And I really, really think that anybody out there that honestly believes in this complete fraud, you really need to get some mental health therapy. Because I'm sorry, this guy's taking us downwards, not upwards, and he is taking the life and soul out of this football club.
Mate, it's hard to disagree. It really is. We were just speaking backstage that, like, you know, we're fourth in the table at the moment. We're out of the COP competition. He's thrown it 2 seasons straight as well, because we lost to Southampton away where we put a reserve team out because we were playing him in the league 3 days later. And he chose league position over the cup that kept him in a job or gave him credit in the job. And then this season he's done it again. And it's mad. Kenny, how are you, mate?
You know, I'm just like, Jez, I'm still so angry because, you know, in terms of like the progress we've been making since the Everton defeat, I didn't see that performance coming. And then I'm kind of kicking myself because I looked at the midfield and went, well, how can you win a game against effervescent, energetic team like Nottingham Forest with a midfield like that? You know what I mean? And as Jez says, it really is alarming. Like a bit of I said players rested, and that the quality really is like a massive gap. I mean, you know, Eddie Nketiah showed why playing against Wimbledon and Sunderland is his level, and a Leeds team that was playing the kids, because he isn't top class level. Everything he did was just wrong. In terms of like the fullbacks were embarrassing, both of them were, and even Kieran Tierney was embarrassing. And it just made me so angry that for some reason, I still say it now, and I say it 1,000 times: don't believe your press. You would have thought that some of our players would show a bit more humility after the fact that we've got pummeled in the first 3 games, and then we had the sort of Liverpool disaster where they showed us what we're about. And I think the Man City game was excellent in terms of the fact that we played well and everyone was pleased, but we still lost the game. And I think because some of these players maybe are watching what they Shearer says, what Wright says, what people like Keown says, and Ferdinand, a lot of the TalkSport people, people like Woods, people like people on Football Focus, you know what I mean? All bigging up Arteta and bigging up the lads. They believe they're pressed, but they need to realise, right, is that they haven't achieved anything yet. And that's what really annoys me, is the fact that they're getting a bit cocky. Arteta, he's won a few battles with Aubameyang. And we've had good results, so that's it. Everything's sorted then. It's not like that. It's not like that. You still have to earn your stripes. And Jez is right. There has to be, a considerable amount of improvement for the Liverpool games and Tottenham as well, because at the end of the day, Tottenham would be licking their lips. Obviously, they got a game against Chelsea, and that could impact on them when they play us. But you know, they're not. Despite the fact that Ndombele is maybe subservient to requirements, they still going to see our midfield if it's like that and think, yeah, why not? We're going to win this. And Liverpool, you know, it's they've got so much quality in midfield, and plus they've had a lot of rest. So you can play Henderson if you want to. You can play Fabinho. You can play Diop. You can play all these top players because it's Arsenal. It's a semi-final of the cup. They haven't won the League Cup since 2012. Klopp's only beaten one final. If anyone Arsenal fan wants to delude themselves and think that Liverpool are not going to be up for this game, they'll be mistaken. They'll be mistaken, and we could end up with eggs on our face if we don't, back our ideas up. Seriously, don't play any Nketiah against a top quality Liverpool. He ain't the answer. Play if Lacazette's your first choice, and bloody play him, because if you play with fire, trust me, mate, it's not just your hands going to get burnt; it's the old arm. Trust me, mate, and it'll be first-degree burns if you carry on like this.
Yeah,
mate, I totally agree. And the thing is, all three of us said all summer, we need midfielders. We need midfield. Our midfield's weak. Right, we knew that anyway. Even with the Granit Xhaka potentially going to Rome story looming around all summer, we were like, we need some midfielders in there. We go and buy Sambi Lokonga, one for future. Yeah, well, I think we see yesterday that he's not ready. Although saying that, he was a one-man midfield yesterday, so it's hard to play three positions at the same time because the other two were anonymous. And who else did we buy? Odegaard. Well, less said about him, the better. And we needed reinforcements in that deeper position, like a party position, like deep defensive position in midfield, because we just get ploughed through by most teams. And when you look at Liverpool's team, Fabinho, Thiago Alcantara, and Henderson will probably be there free. If one of them don't play, then Ox is probably playing. They're going to steamroll us on Thursday in midfield. And it's what we do from there, because it doesn't matter what midfield we put out against them, theirs is better. And that's where we've had a massive issue. I think he's out. I think he's out of the Spurs game as well.
God.
I think that's what I see.
Can you imagine it, right? We're sweating on the fitness of Granit Xhaka, a player that I think maybe collectively, although we don't think he's a crack player, we just don't think he's a player for us. Now we need him.
Oh, Ollie Watkins just missed
these 3 games.
No, mate. The thing is, like, let me answer this question this fella's put in. There it is. If we keep sacking a manager, sacking every coach that we bring in, how can we move forward? Can anyone tell me the last time we kept a coach like 2 years? Arteta, he's been here 2 years. Arsene Wenger was here 22 years. And the 3 most successful clubs in world football in the last 16 years have had 51 coaches between them. That's more than one a season each. And that's Chelsea, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich. So if it works for them, then why doesn't it work for us?
I think we know.
Results business. It's not a longevity. There's no sentiment, or there shouldn't be sentiment in football. It should be, you're not doing the job. See ya.
Well, the shortest term manager we've ever had, mate, was Bruce Rioch.
Yeah.
And after that was Unai Emery as well.
He lasted longer than Bruce Rioch. Poor old Bruce Rioch didn't get a season.
You know what I think it is? You know what I think it is? I think that both of them were managers under suffering, especially Bruce Rioch.
Yeah.
That maybe they wanted Arsene Wenger, probably at the time they couldn't get hold of him, so they had Bruce Rioch after sufferance, and because they were just
Kenny, that was all day long. Wanted him, didn't
no forward. They set him up for dud. I mean, how are people like Ian Wright, Merson going to respect Bruce Rioch, who's come from Burnley, and then Bolton, and the first thing he says is that he wants Ian Wright to be more like John McGinley. That's
they went down.
Emery, I think the board looked at Arteta's CV, looked at the Guardiola angle, probably, and thought, you know what, we want to appoint this guy because he's our first choice, but we didn't. And the reason why we didn't, because of his lack of experience. So let's just go for the PowerPoint guy. But you just get the feeling, right, that after Baku, they were just looking at an excuse to get rid of him. as far as I'm concerned, and the fans, you know, helped him out big time. And then
they wanted Arteta. Yeah, they didn't want Unai Emery. They wanted Arteta,
so
but they probably
wanted Arteta.
We can't give Arteta the job straight after Arsene Wenger because it's going to be a mammoth job. Blah blah blah, coming in off the back of a club legend and all of that, right? So they actually went and got the most successful manager in the 5 years prior to that in Unai Emery in terms of trophy haul, but then they never backed him.
Yeah.
And they kind of hung him out to dry. And now that's why I don't understand how a manager that's never managed before is tasked with building an empire. I don't really get it.
Lee, it's simple. It's simple. And the thing is that if you go on, obviously you're not on Twitter, and Jez, you probably been on Twitter. You said no for me, but I'll say this. Obviously, I'm going to use the two words. There's a lot of pork chops out there and Waziks who basically, in order to justify you know, Arteta's appointment and probably make themselves feel better about Arsene Wenger. One of the things they talk about Unai Emery is they talk about the second season where we conceded a great record number of shots against, and Unai Emery's style's not sustainable. During a 22 match unbeaten run, you know, we were lucky to win some of those matches, and even then we rode our luck, and you know, there was no cohesive style of play. So you've got this guy in, right? And he's supposed to be this manager who's got an identifiable way of playing. We're building up from the back. They can see the progress, trust the process, blah, blah. But as I said before, there's always a situation where, and we've said this many times, and we're going to be saying this all throughout the season, 2 steps forward, few steps back. Now, a lot of people, when we win, and especially the cool guys who, you know, their blogs and their vlogs and, you know, level-headed pork chops from, you know, other podcasts, and, you know, their acolytes are going to be saying, well, look at this. But hang on it, when we lose and we go down that sort of 2-step backwards phase, they're either silent or they join in and it's thinking, yeah, you know what, I don't think Arteta's the man. Some will say it nicely, others will say, look, we got to go now. I mean, it depends on how we lose. If it's like we lose narrowly, then it's the referee cost us the game. But if it's like a top high class thrashing, then Arteta's got to go, and they use all sorts of adjectives, and then they'll do an apology at them just to say, oh yeah, by the way, I want the guy to lose his employment, lose his livelihood, but I'm still a nice guy and a nice girl. Seriously, do one, will you? You know, tell the truth. You know, if you want to be you know, go from one extreme to the other, that's fine. Football, 90% of football fans are like that. It's people like us who think, you know what, we've seen something and we don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. We're sticking in our position, we lose or draw.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well said, mate. 100%. And this is the thing with it, right? I said this to Henry earlier on. We went 10 games unbeaten and ended up 7th. Right? We then lost a couple of games, and it was the straw that broke the camel's back at Everton. Yeah, apparently he'd get him out. Like, oh, it's unrepairable. Yeah, then we win a load of irrelevant games against shit, and all of a sudden, oh, we don't need Aubameyang. Oh, yeah, wow, who's Aubameyang? Oh, look how well we're playing. Look at Martinelli. Oh, he's great. Oh, Arteta in. Then we go and lose to Man City. Oh, I'm proud of the players, and that was a great performance, and the ref shafted us. Then we go and lose to Forest, and it's, well, actually, it's not all looking rosy, is it? And if we lose to Liverpool on Thursday and then lose to Spurs on Sunday, all of a sudden we could be down to 7th and out of both cup competitions, which is why us three do not get carried away. Because at the end of the day, all of them people that sat there after Everton and said, get him out, have flipped back in, but they could be back out again by Sunday.
Yeah.
And they just look like dickheads all season.
There was a guy, I don't watch it, but it just came up on YouTube. An interview with this guy on YouTube, and you guys know who I'm talking about. Name begins with a J. Begins with an N. It's got a U-L-I-A.
I'll say no more, mate.
And I thought, the interview was like, how can you say what you're saying after you've just been to see that game at Nottingham Forest and you are making these statements. And this is where we have the Arsenal brand fan, the fans that Arsenal want. And I'm like, dear God, are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Anyway, can I just answer that guy, Mark, come up there?
Yeah, of course you can, man.
I was thinking today about some of the worst games I've ever seen. And I will honestly say to you, in my living memory, that performance last night has to go down in my top 3. And I was actually chatting to this fella today, an old friend I met up with, Arsenal fan. And I was comparing facts with him, and I said, 73, 76, Arsenal were poor. But the big difference between last night and back then was the players actually tried. They weren't great. They were getting old and the game was moving on, but they fought for the badge. They played for the badge. But I'm sorry, I can't say one player last night, apart from Leno, actually fought for that badge. To me, it was the white shirt, which big up to Adidas and for what they were doing about knife crime and all that. And I respect all that. It was almost like we said to Nottingham Forest, it's the white flag. Honestly, dear God. I mean, I have seen some shit. You've seen shit. You've seen shit, Lee. Kenny Lee. But, even in the games when we got stuffed 5-1, 5-1 by Bayern Munich, at least there was a bit of fight.
Yeah.
I didn't see any fight yesterday. And to go a whole game, 90 minutes against Nottingham Forest, and I'll come to another point there, it's disgraceful. I've seen so many people today say...
Remember York City in 85?
Yeah, and I was at Wrexham when we got done there.
Walsall, 2-1 at home against, which got Terry
But
Neal.
at least there was a bit of fight, Kenny. There was a bit of a fight. We had a chance. I remember at Wrexham we hit the post 3 times.
We got a goal disallowed by Perry Groves, didn't it?
Yeah, but
I'll be 1 minute, lads. Yeah, this delivery's downstairs. He can't get in there.
Right.
Jez, the thing that got me yesterday.
Go on.
You think it got me? It's like us, when you talk about the way Arteta's been playing, they've been so used to teams running out of steam when they've started well against us. If you look at the games, Southampton at the Emirates started really well and really compact, and we scored, then they lost belief. And then they got tired and we ran ring-rounds on them. But what they couldn't cope with is that Nottingham Forest sustained that high tempo throughout the whole 90 minutes. And they couldn't understand that. They couldn't get it. They're so used to teams stepping off them, being scared about the pace that they have on the counter-attack. And that, us being dominant on the ball. The minute we didn't get our own way, that's when it all went pear-shaped. When it went all pear-shaped. That, Martinelli was a complete example where Spence went, no, mate, I'm quicker than you. I'm stronger than you. You're not going to try any of that nonsense with me. Boom. Yeah. Out of the game. And then you've got the thing with Saka. He had a bit of a tussle with Colback, but he was cutting inside. But the Nottingham Forest defenders and midfielders said, go and have a shot. But if you shoot, we're going to block it. We're giving you nothing. Absolutely nothing. Ellie and Ketia thought, this is like Leeds and Sunderland will get them. No, mate, we're a bit better than that. And that's the thing. They bottled it when they realised that they couldn't bully Nottingham Forest. They couldn't outwit them. That the referee wasn't going to fall for any of their, give them what they normally wanted. Obviously, people are going to say, well, how can you say that? Because Man City got decisions. I respect that. But there's other games before Man City when we got a lot of decisions. Referees weren't falling for that. And they just couldn't take it. And I think that's when the white flag went out. Trust me, if we were playing today, right, and we started the game at 5 o'clock, 10 past 5, yesterday at City Ground, and the game was still carrying on right now, we still wouldn't score. No. That's how bad it was. I don't think we've had a shot on target. If it's, you know what I mean?
The thing is, I totally endorse what you just said, Kenny. The fact there is no mental strength and desire. That's, I think, the key thing is no desire to win that game. It was like, they almost couldn't be bloody bothered. It was the fact that, I mean, I take my hat off to Nottingham Forest and congratulate them. They set their game up how they wanted to play it, and fair play. And that brings me on to a point which has made me laugh so many times today. Comments I've seen. Well, Nottingham Forest have been to European champions twice.
Back to back,
40 years ago. 40 years ago.
Yep.
They were European champions. They won, I mean, under Brian Clough and Peter Taylor, they were a fabulous, fabulous team. You know, let's get it right. But they're a mid-table championships team now. Well, not mid-table, upper, you know. But this is Arsenal Football Club here, knocking on your door. And we capitulate, embarrass ourselves, embarrass our fans that travelled up there late on a Sunday afternoon to see that absolute bloody dross. And that, to me, is disgusting.
100%.
I think the Arsenal team should come out and physically, publicly apologise to those players, fans, sorry. Because I tell you what, if I'd have been there, I'd been going absolutely bloody mental.
Don't blame me, Jess.
Totally.
You know the thing that kills it as much is that the only saving grace in terms of like what's united the fan base, regardless of whether there are 10 and that, is that no one was fooled by that performance. There's a lot of angry people who, you know, I think the scales fell out their eyes, not towards Arteta, although I think it should, but towards the fact that, you know what, there was none of this rubbish we get when we lose, where their favourite player gets a bye. No one deserves a bye. That's, you know, Charlie Patino. Sorry, mate. Big boy football, mate. The whole world and its mother would die for you to start because you scored the 5th goal against against Sunderland, and everything. Right, start. Give him a chance. You know, you will get other chances, but let me just say, you know, I don't think you're going to want to take that. Get your parents to take that match and put it on the VHS because it'd be just, you know, give that.
Let's be real with it, right? I said this to Henry a minute ago when I was on his stream. I said, like, you know, these journalists have really pushed this guy. Yeah, really pushed him and made him out to be the next like big thing. Yeah, right. Because it is all part of the club PR, right? And they're the vocal part of that. They push the narrative. Yeah. So everyone was hyped to see him come on the other week against Sunderland, right? And fair play to that kid. He'll never forget that day in his life. Yeah, and it was a lovely little finish. But then since then, the hype's got bigger and bigger and bigger because now it's, oh, yeah, we're going to start him, right? Let's be real. I said this to Henry. He should not be starting games for Arsenal Football Club, whether it's FA Cup, League Cup or Premier League. He should be on loan. Yeah, and it's no coincidence that, for me, our best academy graduate is Smith Rowe, and it's no coincidence that kid went on loan twice. He went to Germany and he went to Huddersfield. And it's no coincidence for me that one that's come through the academy there is the one that looks like he's going to be a superstar. For me, Saka, the jury's still out on him. Yeah, he's obviously a very good player. But again, I say it every week, I don't blame Saka. He looked fucking knackered again yesterday. And I can't keep saying that and using that as an excuse for his poor performances. But he's played over 100 games in 2 years for club and country. He's 20. And it's like, you know, Smith.
That's down to Southgate and Mikel, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
you know, Southgate is using him as sort of either to surprise the opposition and be more direct, you know, because, you know, Southgate has identified the fact that obviously from watching, you know, my guy with Arsenal, that the best way of, you know, England either getting pace on the counter-attack and direct style is to get Saka down there because he, you know, all intents and purposes, his performances, obviously, in the friendlies before the Euros and that performance against the Czech Republic, you know, Southgate's always going to turn to that. So he's always going to be a mainstay. But that's the thing with managers. I don't think there's aftercare for a lot of young players nowadays because, you know, we all say it's a results business. People, you know, and, you know, in terms of like nothing's really changed in terms of Arteta. Last season, we were all saying that, you know, that give the ball to Saka and he goes and he'll go and win the game for us. Well, it hasn't changed that much. Only that, you know, it's, you know, make sure that Saka gets the ball, holds, you know, commits defender, and Smith Rowe will just run through and then put the ball in there. So again, it's a subtle thing. Hence the fact that, you know, your favourite player, Nicola Pepe's sort those requirements. You know, I feel sorry for him because Unai didn't want him. This guy don't want him either, and he's our record signing.
Yeah, it's mad when you think about it, right? And this is why, like, I see a lot of people come in the chat on a regular basis over the course of a month saying, oh, but we'll go nowhere with this ownership. Somebody was saying it in the stream earlier. Oh, we're not going anywhere with this ownership. Well, this ownership, since they've actually been 100% owners, have spent more money than any team in Europe.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all well and good sitting there saying it's the owner this and the owner that, right? We went and done £72 million on a player that got this fan base gassed. We were all hyped for Pepe, literally, and they longed it out and longed it out and longed it out, and then they eventually announced it, right? And everyone was hyped. I remember on his debut, he nutmegged Ben Mee. Yeah, he got the biggest cheer of the day, like literally the biggest cheer of the day. And since then, something's gone wrong. And obviously, Raul Sanelli's lost his job. Maybe that's something to do with it. I don't know. But Pepe wasn't wanted by Unai. It was Zaha that he wanted. Yeah, and I just look at it and I just think 72 million this club decided to spend on that player. And it was the club. It weren't Unai. It was the club. Spent 72 million plus wages. Let's say he's on 100 grand a week. That's 5 mil a year. On a 4-year deal, that's 20 mil. So that's 92 million pounds this club are going to spend on that player. And nobody wants him. Yeah, that in itself, right, should tell you that the people, not the owner, but the people that are making the footballing decisions are not good enough. Right. So and people are saying that Raul Sanelli's gone and he's lost his job. Well, Vinay has got promoted off of the back of that, by the way. £100 million cock up.
He's doing a good job. There's still people at the football club that think him and Ed doing a really good job, and that, you know, they're talking about the virtues of like Hale End. And I always say that I've got no problem with Hale End. I think it's great, but I still can't get the vision of looking at Cobham when they played Juventus and I was seeing that half the team, you know, more than half of that team, played in a 4-0 win against Juventus. Now, I'm not saying putting down Hayland, but I'm one of those people who's never going to be satisfied until we're the best. And that's the thing. It's always about standards with me. That's why I don't get excited if we win or get excited if we lose. If we always get in the top 4 next season, I said, great, that's fine. But I want you to buy a squad that's going to challenge for the league next season and win that Champions League. Because, as far as I'm concerned, you have to win it. You have to have some ambitions. No good being in the Champions League, right? And just staying there just for the money. How about trying to win it? Because at the end of the day, you win it. You can build. You can you know, get the best players and sustain it. Everyone talks about, you know, sustainability. Well, you know, getting to the top 4 occasion isn't sustainability. Saying that Arteta has sustained that style of play, well, it doesn't always look like that because his results doesn't suggest that there's a sustained way of playing and that he's sustainable. And people need to get in their skulls. That's the fact, you know. And if people are going to dare come up to us and say, "Oh yeah, come on, you guys are jumping at a loss," thankfully, there's only a few pork chops that have done that.
What happens when? What happens if we don't get into the Champions League this year? Let's not forget the statement that Arteta made. Arsenal, and I quote, will win the Champions League in 3 years.
Yeah, Jez, that's null and void because he turned it into a youth project. So that was part of the process. That's no longer a process anymore. It's now a youth project. So that would be wiped away. If we don't qualify for Champions League and we finish, say, 5th or 6th, the majority of our fans will see that as a progress because we finished 8th twice. Yeah. And let's not forget this, right? We finished 5th under Unai Emery with a shit squad. A shit squad. But all you get when you speak to people and say that, and say we finished 2 points off 3rd, even though that ain't good enough, right? And he cost him his job eventually, right? But all you get out of these Arteta fans is, yeah, but the league was a lot easier then. It's a lot tougher now. What a load of cobblers. Yeah, the fact is there's still 20 teams in the league and we were one of them, right? You still have to do it over the course of a season. Everyone still had money. There was no COVID at the time. Yeah. We've gone out and backed this manager with £250 million. And the majority of our fan base would all be united in saying, we're short. We need more players of quality. The first 11 on paper looks half tidy. Yeah. But then when you strip it back, you've got Kolasinac, Chambers.
I thought he was going. I thought Kolasinac was going.
Well, this Chambers could play in midfield if Jack is injured.
So can Ben White.
Oh yeah, Ben White could play.
Why didn't Pablo Marie play yesterday?
Yeah. So what's happening right now is that it's getting to a situation after a few injuries or people going to the COVID. It just shows you that our squad is threadbare. But people, and I think that's what people need to realise. You have to turn this and say, right, we need to spend now. Because at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, we're on the cusp of the top four by default, not by design, but we're there. Let's just make sure that we sustain it and try and get up the table, because they do say the league's, like I said, where it should be. However, you're going to get a situation there where they're going to turn everything we said about Arsenal, i.e. we say, no, we're not sure we get the top four because Spurs and Man United have got more quality players and more experienced managers or and more match winners. So if we don't do it, we made a bit of progress. We gave them a fit. We gave them a fight and a run for their money. But I still think I'll give them one more chance, because I saw certain things, i.e. the Man City performance when we lost. Then they're going to talk about Aston Villa, Tottenham, and they're going to, try and get these kind of false positives, as part of the narrative. But, the thing with Arsenal fans is that they're all about emotion. Like Jez made a good point about, the guy from the fan cams, that he's like a brand fan. And if you look at the fan cams, and I say it's a great respect, that what's the difference between the fan cams and the actual official Arsenal channel when they are handpicking fans, i.e. there's a doctor and a partner, and there's Gran and the grandsons, and there's an author who we know very well, who are basically saying the equivalent of going, we all agree Arsenal's a magic and everyone's tragic. Well, the fan cams are no different from that now. We apparently we got this rivalry with Liverpool that I've never heard of. I always thought that our rivalry with Liverpool was during the time of 1989, a minute ago, and the matches, beating them in the 87 League Cup final, and then after the 90s when both teams went to decline, there wasn't a rivalry. And I thought the rivalry of Man United was because of the Fergies. I've now realised that we've actually got a rivalry with Liverpool. Well, Tottenham are rivals. Like this thing about the postponement of the game and saying that we've got cheated against Brentford. If you can indulge me 2 seconds, I'll go and prove that wrong. Give me 2 seconds. Right? I'm just going to get this team sheet against Brentford.
Yeah, no worries. Make sure you smash likes up, people. Smash these likes up.
Well, I'm going to go Brentford, Arsenal.
Yeah. Because apparently we had 7 first-team players out, Kenny. Yeah. So when they say first-team players, that's starting 11 first-team players. Apparently we had missing that day.
Hold on. Let's just get the lineups, all right? Right. We should have had our game called off against Brentford because we had high intense COVID statistics. Also, we had loads of players out. All right, let's have a look at this. In goal, Bert Leno, German international. Left back, Kieran Tierney. Right back, Callum Chambers. In defence, we had Marion White. In midfield, we had Granit Xhaka and Sambi Lokonga. And in front of them, we had Gabriel Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Pepe, and Balogun. Doesn't look like a lot of. That looks like a complete squad that's been shredded.
It looks like a better team than we played yesterday. That's for sure.
And on the bench, we had Saka.
Yep.
We had Bellerin, under 21 Spanish international finalist, who lost against Germany in 2016. So when we're trying to compare the Brentford situation to what Liverpool had. We need to start using our brains and stop being pork chops, because that is not a fighting point in order to, you know.
So where are the seven first team starting players that were missing then? So we got the right back Tomiyasu. Yeah, he wasn't there, was he? Had we signed him at that point? I don't think we had we?
Yeah. No,
right? So he wasn't there.
Tavares was there. Tavares was on the bench.
Tavares was on the bench.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a first team starter. But apparently we had 7 of these first teamers there. So Gabriel, he was a first teamer missing. Aaron Ramsdale was not a first teamer at the time. Leno was, right? So that can't count. So Gabriel, Thomas Partey, there's 2. Saka, but he was on the bench. That don't count. So 2. And Lacazette and Aubameyang. Yeah, so 4 players that would have started the game normally weren't playing. What's the issue? Mikel Arteta's got 17 or 18 of his own players.
Got me, right? Is that, and I say, I'm going to bring this. The reason why I get upset about it is that not one of the big accounts and most of the fans weren't talking about the poor fans who had to change their travel arrangements for the game. All they're talking about is injustices of the players and of the fact that Liverpool got away with one. How about the fans? How about putting the match going fans? Those poor people who had to.
They had a home game, and now they've got to travel away.
Yeah, exactly. What about the situation?
They might not have necessarily been going to the home, the away game. So let's say they're not going, but they'd planned to go to the home game, right? And I'd imagine your ticket for the home game next week will be valid, but you might not be able to go now because you might have to work.
Why don't anyone fight for them? Why ain't anyone fighting for them? Why is it always that when you have issues like games getting called off, the match going fan is the afterthought? Why? I don't get it. That's what we should be more outraged about. We weren't. I was shocked. Why?
Yeah. It's mad. Big up to Big Josh for this donation as well. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, people. Type in Big Josh Arsenal. You'll find his channel. So there's a question for Kenny and Jez. What do we need to do before the Liverpool game? Because we're seriously lacking squad depth. I think we need 2 midfielders.
Josh, I'll tell you exactly what we do there. We put in a load of fake positive COVID so we can delay it for another couple of weeks. That's what we do. Otherwise, we are going to get piped. I promise you, we will get piped. We ain't going to get a couple of midfielders between now and then. So let's do that. Put in a few fake, false, as Klopp said. Some of the positive tests they had were false.
False positives, yeah.
So that's
the only person that would have actually missed the game, he said, was Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
But he said that they had to, he pulled a fast one. Let's just call it as it is. They pulled a fast one. But at the end of the day, if you can get away with it, fuck it, do it.
Let's do it.
See, that's the thing. I'm upset. Yeah. I'm just upset about the fans missing out, not on the fact that he pulled a fast one, because it swings in roundabouts. You know, were we outraged when Wolves pulled out of the game on the 28th, when Christmas times, kids are off school, you know, it was at the 11th hour, people had travel arrangements like yourself, Jez, to go to the game.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you don't know when the game is. You still get your ticket, but you don't know when the game is. And it's going to be during the week where during the rush hour,
travel is going to be hard work. You might have work the next day. You might not be able to make it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they going to refund you your ticket? Of course they fucking ain't.
No, they won't.
Yeah. So why people? We should be just more outraged about the Wolves situation, because it's during Christmas. You know, when we had time off, when kids had time off.
Yeah, they might have been their first ever Arsenal game at the Emirates, with their families, and now they can't make it because they got school the next day, and it might be too late, and they might not be able to get back. Especially for you, Jez, where you live, with the tubes and the trains and stuff. Like, it's pathetic. Like,
Wolves seemed pretty all right when they went to Old Trafford, didn't they?
Mate, I prefer not to speak. Big up to Mitchell as well. What's the what is that project? What is the long-term goal? What is the board thinking when they sit around that table? Another season out of the window. I'll tell you exactly what the project is. Let's wheel out the merch. Let's wheel out a puppy, give it to Saka because he's cute. He'll look cute with the retro merch and the puppy.
Yeah.
We'll wheel out Uncle Righty. Woohoo! We'll get Ray Parlour on board. What we'll do is we'll get Winterburn and Adams. I can't believe Adams got involved in that. Yeah, and we'll all go and play bowls, yeah, or pinball or whatever, or 12-pin bowling or whatever it was. And we'll roll out all the merch. That's all they care about, mate. Real talk. That is all this football club care about, is how to market and dress up merchandise and get as much revenue into this football club as they can by doing the minimal amount of work and spending, right? And that is exactly why this manager is the manager, right? Because most people have bought into it. When we sat there, right, at the beginning of the season, and we see Edu do that interview where he said, I just want to see the team play together. I'm not setting target. I just want to see the team play. Then Josh Conkey did an interview and he said, well, I just want to see the team play together, you know, man, blah, blah, blah. And then Arteta was asked and he said, well, we don't really like to set targets, just next game. So none of them three who are in charge of this football club and team affairs have set us a target this season. So don't be fooled by it, people. If we finish 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, even 5th, whatever it may be, don't win anything and lose there or thereabouts the same amount as last season, have there or thereabouts, well, we're going to have a worse goal difference probably, or definitely goals against. Don't be surprised if this manager's still got a job next season. And that is because nobody's holding them accountable, because they haven't given the public a target to hold them accountable to. Yeah, it's all about the shirt sales. And the thing is, like, some of the merchandise they've dropped is unbelievable. It's fucking lush. I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it. That white kit yesterday, if that was for sale, yeah, mate, it would have been hard not to buy it because it was a nice kit, right? Yeah. But I wouldn't have bought it. Yeah, and they don't care. Like, they've gone 18 months, right, with fans barely at games. They still went and done 150 million quid on transfers in the summer. So don't think that they need you lot of games, because they don't. They don't. They've done 150 mil without any fans at the game for 18 months properly. Yeah, like before it was a full stadium. That could probably be sustainable for maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and then they would need fans back, right? But they can cover that for 2 or 3, maybe 4 seasons, because the amount of revenue they get from outside sources. TV money goes up every year or every 3 years when it's renewed. Yeah, we don't even know about half of the sponsors. They've probably got a watch sponsor, a car sponsor, a TV sponsor.
It falls not to, though. They'll be actually falls not to, because I think anything with football is such big business, and that you know everything you should sponsor everything. You might as well sponsor the the kitchens at the training ground. You might as well, because everyone wants the association with the Premiership football, because if just seeing a brand. That keeps a lot of people in business. But the thing with Arsenal is that we're copying Man United. That Man United have done all the things that you've said Arsenal have done. That they've put like the commercial health before success on the pitch. Social token gestures. Same with Arsenal. There's more. Arsenal have made more money since. Since 2004 than they did when we were winning things, because commercially the game's got bigger to a wider audience.
Which is why we moved stadium, Kenny. Let's be real, all them people that are either up in heaven or hell, right, that are no longer with us, that were a massive part of this football club, like the hierarchy, right, and the people that have sold their shares to some of these people that are here now, they all knew what they were fucking doing. Yeah, they all knew about the Super League 20 years ago. They all knew about how football was going to go globally 20 years ago. So when they gave us the big statement about, we're moving to Ashburton Grove to compete with Europe's elite, bollocks. We were moving there to monopolise, and take advantage of a global fan base off of the back of Arsene Wenger, and Thierry Henry, and Vieira's names. That's all they did, and Bergkamp's name. Yeah, they did that.
Financially, it's worked though, Lee. It's worked financially.
Financially, it's the best business in the world. Yeah, but on pitch is what we, all 3 of us, hold this lot accountable for. They lied to us. Yeah, and every single day, I'm going to fucking hold them accountable for lying to us. Do what's required. We did not have to spend £250 million with Mikel Arteta in a youth project that was a process. We could have gone out there and got a proper manager, or kept Unai and gave him the backing that we've given this manager, because that manager, by the way, got us to our first European final in how long? In his first season with shit. Yeah, with shit, right? We could have given him 150 million quid. He wanted Fabinho. He wanted Fabinho. Do you think Fabinho would have come under Emery? Probably. As soon as Liverpool come knocking, bye. But we could have had him. He wanted Zaha. I don't particularly rate Zaha, but I understand why he wanted Zaha, because he was ready now. It's not a 2-3 year down the road for Pepe. And lo and behold, 2-3 years down the road, Pepe ain't even getting games. So
well, that's the reason why probably Arteta did get the job, because and it just, you just answered the question why every time a manager loses his job at Arsenal, Emery, maybe we should stop assuming that we're going to get a big name to come to the football club because of the fact that it's Arsenal Football Club, because the words you used to use with Unai Emery, he wants a player for right now. Well, Arteta is suited to what the board needs in terms of their,
But do we know that it's the board though, Kenny? Is it the board, right? Because Josh Kroenke has more about him than his dad, yeah, from what we've seen, right? But he still ain't got a fucking clue about football. Right, you can see that in his interviews. He ain't got a Scooby-Doo what he's talking about.
He doesn't have to have a clue about football. What he does is he employs people who have got a clue about football.
Yeah, but they ain't. Edu ain't got a clue what day it is.
He thinks Edu is.
That Tim Lewis guy. I mean, the Nottingham Forest manager, by the way. Yeah, the Nottingham Forest manager, is he related to Tim Lewis? Like, I mean, my man looks like he's been on fucking Kevin and Perry Go fucking large in Ibiza. He looks like he's double dropped on pills. And he's fucking coming up in the club. Like, come on, man's on the Mitzi turbos, bruv. Look at him. Fucking look at the state of that. Yeah, no disrespect to him. He outcoached our fucking manager. So respect, well done. But bruv, our hierarchy are all about my age. They're all around late 30s, early 40s, right? And then you've got a couple of other people that are in their 50s, right?
That's what they want, though, Lee. They want people like your age. They want young people.
Authorizing going down this route? Whose plan was it to go down this route of, well, actually, it's not a process anymore because we're miles away from actually what I said we could do. So who authorized and said, right, well, why don't we turn it into a youth project? I want to know who said that. Who said that? Was it Josh? Was it Arteta? Was it Edu? Was it Vinay? Was it Tim Lewis? Was it all of them sat there together and said, well,
Mertesacker. Mertesacker's part of the transfer committee as well.
Yeah, Mertesacker. But was it all of these people have sat there and said, right, well, it's not quite gone to plan, lads, but what we do is, because we're doing all right off the pitch, yeah, like marketing wise, and they're fucking all falling for it. So what we do is we're turning it into a youth project and we're going by young. Whose idea was it? Because all I see, right, is just a load of bollocks. And the fact is, you said earlier about Chelsea against Juve. Chelsea against Man United had 4 Cobham players in their team and 1 came off the bench. Right? When I look at other clubs, who did we play the other day? Sunderland. Was it Sunderland? I can't remember. We played somebody the other day and their team was literally like younger than ours. I think it was Sunderland, right? So, when people stand there, 1-1 at Old Trafford, by the way, when people stand there and say, oh, but it's a young squad, we have chosen to go down that young squad route. And that is why I get the ump. Because if we had given an experienced, proper manager at the high end, a Conte, you could even say an Ancelotti, given them £250 million, we would be in a title race. And I think that's why we all get the ump, because we're now being told it's 3 years down the line and they might all come good. Well, in 3 years' time, Smith Rowe might be sold to Chelsea. Saka might be at Liverpool. Then what?
Exactly.
It's fucking bullshit. Let me rifle through these super chats real quick. Danny Ings has just equalised at Old Trafford, by the way. I don't know what David De Gea was doing. Fucking, what was that? Is there VAR? I don't think there is. That looked offside. Can someone explain why Kolasinac was brought on? Arteta did the same when we needed a goal versus Villarreal and subbed off at Aubameyang. It's because he hasn't got a clue what he's doing. Right? Genuinely hasn't got a clue, my guy. Ain't got a clue. We've all lost people over the years. It's hard. Big up you 3 legends for all the stick you take and saying real. Much love and empathy. Big up to Richard. Thank you very much, bruv. Appreciate it. Listen, at the end of the day, we just say it as it is, mate. Big up to Tony Rolfe as well. SWC.
There's no bullshit here, mate. There's no bullshit here.
Yeah.
Big up to Tone. Yes, boys, you got a great chance. No Mane or Salah. It will be Arsenal versus Chelsea final. They've got VAR in this game, have they? Oh wow, I never knew. Yeah, Chelsea final and the spot of lunch at Nando's before kickoff. What's the final going to be? I'm not confident. I was confident last week. I'm not confident. Are you guys confident?
No.
It's Liverpool. That's the thing. It's Liverpool because I don't know what it is. You know, the thing is, if we had our full team, I would have been confident. But you know, one thing about it is midfield scares me. Our midfield scares me. Really, 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 really scares me. And it's on that basis that I am concerned. But then I want to be proved wrong. But I just don't see how we could, unless we play the ball long through the lines, past the lines, and then see if we could sit and then just play in the wings, then we've got a chance. But if we try to play through the middle, we're French connection, mate. And that's how we play our best football. We don't play down the wings. We play through the middle through players like, who try to pass the ball, like, Odegaard. I'm worried. Liverpool are my favourites. They won a couple of weeks ago, but now without the midfield, I can't see how we can win.
That's the problem. All of a sudden, that midfield is, mate. Henderson. Go on, Joe. Sorry, mate.
No, sorry to interrupt. I was going to say, if we turn up with that midfield that we had yesterday, we'll get our asses wiped. I tell you, because let's be fair, we didn't have a midfield. We tried to play a game of let's not have a midfield. And that's Arteta's new tactic. We don't need a midfield, and we'll just bypass that one and forget about that today. And I'm sorry, we're playing Liverpool at Anfield, where we haven't won since God was born. And so, I was confident, but after yesterday's display, unless that squad can pick themselves up from their heels, then no chance. I can honestly say, with what I saw yesterday, we could come out of that 4-0 down and we're done. Simple. Forget the game.
Sorry to cut you off. I've just seen that goal disallowed, and I don't think it was disallowed for offside. It was disallowed because Cavani's run into fucking Ramsey or Mings or someone.
I didn't see it, to be fair.
That's a
I don't know. Was it? No, the referee's had a look at it. So is he done it?
Yeah, he went and had a look at it, but they were only showing the connection between Cavani and whoever he ran into. Yeah, and they didn't. He weren't looking at the offside.
Well,
obviously, I ain't on, so
he's blown up for an infringement. I don't know. Was it a handball for Ings, or was it? Because Ings didn't handball it. It must have been like
everyone in the chat saying it was offside. It was offside. So I don't know.
But he's going to look at the screen now. He looks at the big screen though.
Yeah, Cavani ran into the guy, but I don't know. That was a bit of a weird one. Villa deserve something out of this, by the way. They've played brilliant so far.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. It's like all of these teams, they go to bigger clubs, and it's never a free hit for them, is it? They actually go there and put in a performance. Like, this is why we get the ump. We've got a squad that's going to go to Anfield with probably Charlie Patino in midfield again. If Xhaka's not playing, then we're going to have what? Lakonga, Smith Rowe if he's fit.
I think it'd be a horses for horses player.
I mean, it's not great, is it?
What Chambers? Because you see Chambers playing in the midfield like a horses for courses player.
Well, he did get player of the season at Fulham, didn't he?
I honestly think watching that yesterday, that Patino, he looked like lamb to the slaughter. He looked scared. He's a young boy, 18. He's slight. He's got a bulk up, which he will, giving him time. But he was absent without leave, and to put a young kid like that into that game, was so wrong. Because when the game was going on, there was a couple of times when the camera panned to his face. He looked terrified.
Yeah. He got the runaround, mate. He got the runaround.
Absolutely terrified.
But that's the difference between playing in the under-23s and playing against adults.
Well, yeah, and if you're going to stick him in midfield against Liverpool at Anfield, you know what I mean? I mean,
Against Fabinho,
dear God,
and Henderson, Champions League winners, Premier League winners,
they get kicked all over the park.
Mate, the boy needs a loan. Yeah, send him out on loan to a League One team. Yeah, like send him out. I don't know, whatever team it may be. Send him out on loan. Maybe somebody local, so he don't have to move far. Because he's only a kid. Let's not forget that. Yeah, send him out locally somewhere. I don't know, a Barnet or something like that, and get him out on loan. Yeah, or a Leighton Orient or someone. Do you know what I mean? Someone in and around London area. Yeah, get him out on loan. Get him playing against tough geezers every week. Yeah, and it'll toughen him up. It worked for Smith Rowe. Like, and if he's as good as everyone keeps saying he is.
We're in at Bolton. When Jack Wilshere went to Bolton, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And listen, let's not forget Aaron Ramsey, even though he didn't go on loan, he was playing for Cardiff before we signed him. Yeah, so it's like he already had that experience of playing in the lower leagues and getting toughened up. You know, and sometimes you need to do that. And if this kid's as good as everyone makes him out to be, then get him out on loan. You know, Mason Mount went to Vitesse. Yeah, where else did he go? Derby. He went somewhere else. Yeah, now look at Mason Mount now, balling 7 goals in his last 7 games.
Well, I could always bring Wiltshire back.
Yeah, we could. We might as well get Arteta to put his boots on, mate. Let's get Santi Cazorla back. Santi Cazorla, as Kenny would call
I'll tell you what, Santi Cazorla, mate, he'd probably do a damn sight better than a lot of that.
He'd be our best midfielder.
Is he? You know what? He's one of those players like that. If you talk about unlucky players, right, he's got to be the most unluckiest player.
Yes.
You know, the fact. Oh look, is he going to miss? Oh no, he hasn't.
Oh, good goal.
I'm still behind.
Oh,
Who
it's
scored?
offside. It's offside. Offside.
Who scored?
It's offside because Danny Ings should have put the ball in himself.
Mate, I'm about 20 seconds behind, but Aston Villa have been all over this lot, by the way.
They have. Yeah.
Yeah, how comes Gerrard's got a style of play?
Offside.
Yeah, he was offside. That was a great pass. Whoever played that, was it Ramsey?
Yeah.
He should have just dinked the keeper himself and Ollie Watkins offside. Yeah, but how comes Steven Gerrard's got a style of play inside 3 weeks? How's that even possible? We're still waiting for 2 years of Arteta to give us a style of play. It's mad. It's actually mad. Listen, we are going to wrap this up. Is there anything you guys want to touch on before we go?
Well, I don't know. I think
not really. I just think that if people cannot see from what happened yesterday that we have the worst manager in the Premier League, then you have seriously got some serious problems. Maybe go to the opticians, because, you know, when I see the comments about what is going on, you know, you are so seriously deluded. Or we are obviously watch different games. I don't know. Or maybe I need to go to an optician, because, you know, I do wear glasses. Maybe I need to change them, because I'm clearly seeing something completely different to what some of these guys I see, you know, on various streams saying. And dear God, honestly, you know, I always want Arsenal to win, and I've had people say, "Oh, Jez, get down the lane. You're a Tottenham fan and all this bollocks." Yeah, right. Fair play.
Why don't they fuck off down the lane? Because they like mediocrity, mate. Why don't they fuck off down the lane?
Exactly.
They don't win nothing.
And the thing is, what makes me laugh, if you reply to these people with facts, true facts that you can actually quantify, they never come back.
No, they don't. Because they got no basis to. They all they do is go, "Oh, fuck off down the lane." Why don't you actually tell me why you think this manager's done great bits? And then when I come back to you, come back to me again. Oh, because you can't, because we kill you with facts and they don't care about your feelings.
It's always the way, though, isn't it, with people who make sort of generic comments. 9 out of 10 times when you make a generic comment, it's not actually your original fault. It's a lot of it to do with the fact that you know, it's a popular opinion. You know what I mean? You know, and you like, and that's where it is with a lot of our fan base. But in terms of Mikel Arteta, you know, it's got to a situation where he's, we got to the cups of, like a final. Also, we're in the cups of the top four. But it shows, one thing, right, is that a couple of weeks ago, West Ham were the team, weren't they? Maybe because West Ham were going to do it, and then they had a few defeats, and they're on the back burner, and then they're starting to play good football again. And it's the same with us as well. It's like, we're about probably 14 days away from a crisis, and I think that's the whole situation.
100%, Kenny. Sorry to cut you off. Rand said this earlier, right? He said, if you're 2 or 3 games away from a crisis, why the fuck is the manager still there? Because if it's a crisis in 2 or 3 games, which it could be, 3 games from now, we could be out of the EFL Cup and we're 7th in the table.
Yeah.
So get rid of him. Because you're never going to go past that. You said it earlier on, Kenny. 2 steps forward, 2 or 3 back. 2 steps forward, 2 or 3 back.
Yeah,
we're not progressing, are we?
Yeah, but the thing we got is that if you're saying that it's a project youth, then what will happen is that a lot of the fan base who are behind Mikel are going to accept the inconsistencies, because they're going to equate it and say that for us we got young players, that you can't have consistent results with young players. So they are going to say
we chose to have young players, so fuck them. I ain't buying that.
Well, the thing. The simple thing is, it's Arsenal Football Club. Once Arsenal Football Club behaves like other clubs in the top 6 and say, you know what, it's performance based, then we got a situation. The only way we change things, and I've said it many times before in the podcast, is that we basically need a billionaire who's got a massive ego. It's not just had to be a billionaire, but got someone who's got a massive ego, likes to be a centre of attention, and likes to be the man who's in charge of everything. Because those sort of managers will invariably get rid of a manager, try and get the best man, get the best people behind the scenes. Yes, he'll probably interfere enough, but what you have is that the big manager will start with a clean slate with an egotistical owner, because as far as the egotistical owner is concerned, you still have to prove yourself. So he's not going to give you, a process or, like a youth project. He's going to want success like yesterday. And I think that's what Arsenal Football Club need a dose of. Some of the medicine that we have at Man City and some of the medicine we have they have at Chelsea, because it works. You're right.
There was a great comment that somebody put in here earlier saying, why ain't we ever the wounded animal? Now, I can't find it now, but it said, why are we never the wounded animal? Why is it never us that's going up against the team and they're going, oh, fuck, you don't want to play them. They've just lost to Forest, mate. Yeah, you don't want to play them. It's never us, is it? And that has been a mentality thing at our club for 2 decades nearly.
Well, yeah, I think if it's the Arsene Wenger thing as well, people see, even though Arsene Wenger hasn't been with us for 4 years, we're still heavily influenced by him in terms of like the recruitment under him. Rather than get an experienced player, let's get the up and coming player. Oh, bloody hell, he's the best. He's the best youth prospect in France, the best youth prospect in Germany, in Brazil, in Spain and Italy. And I think that mentality hasn't changed in terms of our recruitment. And I don't see it changing until maybe people are right. Maybe we should get new management. Because
100%.
So new ownership, because but not someone with a massive ego. There's loads of people out there who are going to think that they're not going to give a bob about who's a great managers left that could be available, whoever they are.
Everyone's got a price, Kenny. Everyone's got a price.
Yeah,
I would say Graham Potter. I'd take Graham Potter.
Right, you say they've got a price, but the thing is that the reason why I want an egotistical manager is because
Simeone.
Yeah, that's the thing. The reason why I want an egotistical owner, because if you have an egotistical owner, that big name manager can't put his feet up. He's going to have to work, and he's going to have to produce results, because that egotistical owner, as far as he's concerned, his attitude is, well, I bought you to win me the league. And I think that's what we need at Arsenal, that we need to rip up the whole blueprint and be like Chelsea, be like Juventus to some extent, and be like Man City, because that's the only way I can see Arsenal competing. The way we're doing it organically just hasn't worked. It doesn't work.
The only way I see us competing, Kenny, because I think like I agree with what you're saying. You need somebody like an Abramovich that's going to hold people accountable, right? But if this owner isn't, and they're just going to plod through it, then that's where the fans have to hold them accountable. Because even though Chelsea have got that owner who makes everyone accountable, their fan base are ruthless, man. Like they don't care. They were Tuchel sacked the other day.
Yeah, but that's now. That wasn't the case before Roman Abramovich came up. I remember back in the day when a lot of Chelsea fans were saying that Glenn Hoddle was doing a great job at Chelsea. That when he joined Chelsea, were they 13th? And I think when he left, they were about 11th. But they were saying
I'm literally going to piss myself. I'll be 1 minute.
Yeah, but they were saying the football they had under Glenn Hoddle in '96 was the best football, and they're so happy. But they won fuck all. Sorry, excuse my language. They won nothing. They didn't win anything. And that, you know, they were even, you know, but that was Chelsea fans. Now, because of Abramovich, they've now bought into what he wants, and I think that's the problem with Arsenal fans. Too many Arsenal fans are too divided. You know, a lot of Arsenal fans is called, you know, wouldn't want the kind of model that City and Chelsea because they're gonna. What's the words they use, Chase? Financial doping. Have you ever heard of that phrase?
No.
What's financial doping?
No idea. No idea.
Well, that's the phrase they use to, you know, because they said that it's not. They accept the fact that it's not a level playing field. We're never going to be able to compete because we haven't got Chelsea's money, and that we have to be grateful for what we got because we're never going to win the league or Champions League because Chelsea and Man City have got it all tapped up, and if Man United get it right off the pitch, then we won't be able to keep. So I'm thinking, well, what's the point of us then? What's the point?
Well, the thing that really grates my goat on this one is the fact that we have no. How am I trying to say? We have no fan direction anymore. Years ago, you know it, Kenny. You've been there. When the fans were pissed off, seriously pissed off, then the management would listen. But it just seems to me now that the management of the club just sits there and they think, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go down this road, whether you like it or not. And they don't listen. They don't hear the fans that are actually saying this is not acceptable anymore and we want to change. And, you know, the fact that Arteta, the prick, is such an arrogant arsehole that he believes what he's doing to this club is correct. In actual fact, it is totally wrong. And we are going in the totally wrong direction. There seems to me almost like after what happened yesterday, has anybody actually come out and made a comment about apologies to the fans? Sorry, we got it wrong. Or Arteta fessing up and saying, I got it totally wrong, guys. I'm really sorry. You know, I fucked up and I will take all the blame. But also the players need to turn around and say, we were absolute pony.
I think your player will do it. But I think the problem is that when you talk about, you know, the sort of fan-led, like, you know, keeping standards, the problem is that a lot of fans nowadays, if they have big followings of social media, you know, then I think that in terms of like social media, I think that if, you know, the clubs tend to look towards those people because they put themselves out there. For instance, the ACT have, you know, the people who sit on those boards and have dialogue with the owner are people with big presence on social media. A lot of those people in the ACT have been on podcasts and have had their own podcasts in the previous life. So what will happen is that because they're well-known social media, invariably, whenever the Sky Sports or any of the BT want to talk to Arsenal fans, invariably they're going to talk to them because they're big social media presence. And obviously, the people who tend to dominate the social media presence as seen as spokesman of the club are the fan camps, because again they've got a massive social media presence, plus a lot of young, because they want to get young people involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They rather than do what they did in the 80s and 70s, when obviously the 80s when I was a kid, in the early 90s, where they would just get a camera and say, right,
yeah, let's bowl down the road and go in a boozer.
Yeah, we'll go to boozer. Now they just have a few email addresses, because they've got emails, and agents said, right, blah blah blah, we need you to come on the Sky Sports and blah blah. And it's the same people, either people from the ASC or the fan camps. So those people speak for millions of Arsenal fans. And I'm not saying the people at the pub speak for Arsenal fans, but you can get a broader
No, but
view.
I know what you're saying. In the mainstream media, they're handpicked because of the size of the following, or because of the platform that them particular people go on that's got a big size following. So then that's why a lot of people don't like it and don't associate with it, because it's like, well, actually, you don't speak for me.
Yeah, but they'll be more accepting. They'll accept it more if it wasn't contrived and it was someone who drank in the Tollington, who was someone who drank in the Pins, or someone who was walking down Holloway Road, or past half his estate, who happens to be an Arsenal fan. They'll take that because they think, you know what, that's an Arsenal fan. They ain't got a problem with that. How comes that sometimes they do that with Spurs fans occasionally and speak to them, although they've gone down that road now where they're now getting Spurs fans who have big social media presence to speak for them. And I don't think that's, one, I think it's too contrived, and two, I don't think that's a fair basis. And I don't think the Arsenal fans, one, are going to be interested in that, and they're going to think, oh no, not him again. Oh God. They want something different. They want new faces. You know what I mean? They want it organic, not the, oh God, why? But then again, that's how social media, a lot of the producers are young people. Young people think social media is the be all and end all of everything.
Yeah, 100%. But that unfortunately is the way of the world, mate. Yeah, and everything is online now. So, if you've got 1 million followers, you're going to be more hand-picked and given more opportunity than somebody with 10 followers, because these companies want to return on what they're giving you. So I'll give an example. Right? I'm not going to name the company. Massive company came to me last year for the Leeds game in November last year, the one where Pepe got sent off. Was it Pepe? Yeah, Pepe got sent off and we drew 0-0. Massive company. They're huge. And they've got other companies under the umbrella, yeah? And I've spoke to the CEO of them on the phone for a good hour, FaceTime and all of that. Really nice guy. Sound fella, yeah? And he said to me, he goes, I can't pay you to do a watch-along, but I'd like you and another Arsenal fan to do a Zoom call watch-along with 2 Leeds fans. And I said, yeah, that's cool. I said, but I do my own watch-along. He said, but I can put you out to millions, like 10+ million followers on platforms. I said, yeah, but that's still not getting me paid, mate. Yeah. And he was like, so show me your analytics. So I showed him the analytics. He was like, wow, blah, blah, blah. And I was on 48K, 50K subs at that point. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own arse or trying to make out I'm fucking anything special, because I ain't. Yeah. But he said to me, he goes, I can't offer you any money, but I can offer you the exposure. Now, the majority of people would take that. Yeah. But because this is my job and it's a full-time job, I said no. I've never heard from him since. Never heard from him since. But other people recently that would have done that for nothing, just for the exposure, and have done in the last couple of weeks, have boosted their accounts massively, but they did it for nothing. And it's like, I'm not working for free. Yeah, and I don't.
Yeah, but but not everyone in that field know their self-well. For instance, people, now we know how it goes. If Sky Sportsbooks come on to you, you'll probably say, well, no thanks. But not everyone's going to be like that. They are going to say yes because it's Sky Sports, and yes, they are going to say yes, it's the BBC, because they are going to want the exposure and then more followers. Because I think not everyone understands that social media, could be, your full-time job. Some people just do social media to get the followers. They don't understand that there's an economics behind it. Not everyone understands that.
I
100%.
totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. I mean, I know a couple of people that nothing to do with football. Their channels have got nothing to do with football, and they have their YouTube, streaming. They don't get paid big money for it because they haven't got the big, as big numbers of subscribers as Lee and other people have. But I know one fella that he does gaming, some gaming thing, and he had a gaming company come on to him and say, look, you're quite popular. We see that you get some good views. Would you come on and do a review of one of our new games? And he said, yeah. He said, well, how much are you going to pay me? I said, oh, no, we do it for free, but you'll get millions and millions and millions of views around the world. And he said, well, no, I'm not doing it for free. I mean, yes, I think he's probably got about, 20,000, 25,000 subscribers, so it's not massive. But he said, no, if you want me to come on and review a game that you're going to make hundreds of millions of pounds out of over a few years, no one paying for it.
Exactly. And that was my point, Jez. The company that contacted me, it's none of these companies that people are putting in it, by the way. And he was a really nice guy, which is why I want to be respectful and not say the name of the company yet, because he was actually sound as fuck. Yeah, and he was really trying to work his nuts off to try and get it done. And I was like, mate, I get paid on match day. Like, I'm doing my own watch along. Why would I do it for nothing in the hope I get followers and interested? But he was sound. But this is the thing. It's like people will do it. Yeah, people will do it for nothing.
For popularity. They do it
for, oh, look at me, I'm on here. It's like when people say, oh, look, I made my debut on Sky Sports News. Bruv, they didn't pay you. They just paid for your cab. Like, I made my debut on Sky Sports News. What are you talking about, debut on Sky Sports News? It's like you're a footballer. Like, but this is the thing. I'm not interested in that, yeah? And not only that, yeah, we were talking about this Southampton game earlier. There was another company as well that wanted me to do overlays for the 2 Southampton games last year because we had 2 in 3 days, both on that channel. Yeah, and they offered me 400 quid. Multi-billion-pound company. I said no. Yeah, they wanted me to do 2 overlays for the Southampton game. Yeah, for each game. Yeah, and promote the fact that every single game for that weekend's worth of FA Cup and Premier League was on their channel. Now for me 400 quid. So you're a multi-billion-pound company, mate. Are you mad? Yeah, I'm going to put this out to thousands and thousands of people and you're offering me 400 quid. No, thanks. Yeah, I turned it down. Again, I've never heard from them either. And not that I'm salty about it, because I'm not. But I could have quite easily took that. I could have quite easily took the opportunity with the other company. But for me, it's not about that. It's about, I just want my club to be the best it can be, and I'm holding them accountable. And people will always say, oh, you're negative. You profit off a loss. Yeah, well, if I had a business model of profiting off a loss, I wouldn't support Arsenal, would I? Because we tend to win more games than we lose. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and if I was trying to profit, I would have took the money, right? Like, it's mad. I just don't understand it. But unfortunately, if you want to get on in life, in social media life, people ask me all the time, like, I'm thinking of starting a channel up. What advice do you give? Fake it, mate. Lie. Pretend you're Arteta in, pretend you're Arteta out. Go with the flow. Yeah, because you will grow your channel just like that. Yeah, just like that. If you're doing what I'm doing, you've got no chance.
Yeah, but that is the situation. Is that everyone's modeling themselves and actually the official club. Like the way the clubs sell their social media. It's all nicey. You know what I mean? Like they get.
Can you imagine if they got me on Sky Sports News, like this guy says? I don't toe the line. Can you imagine if they said, "Oh, so yeah, you're 10 games unbeaten. What do you think?" We've got Arsenal fan Lee of Lee Gunner channel. What do you think? Sack him. They'd be like, "What?" They wouldn't have a clue what to say. Sack him.
But the problem is that at the end of the day, it's all about positivity, because at the end of the day, I look at it this way, that the club's own social media channel is not nice people. They get nice people and positive people to promote the channel. Like they even had their own watch-alongs. I'm sure you saw it during lockdown, and there were just nice people nice guy, nice family, nice couple, you know, nice, you know, grandmother and the grandson. And I think that's what it is. That is, you
No
know,
swearing, no nastiness.
I don't think it's even a swearing. I think what's happened is that football's never changed since I've been, you know, watching it. You know, fans who scream and shout, you know, go, Arsenal's going to win, whether we're a top side or not. That's who they attract. The only time they're going to need people like us is if things go really badly.
But this is the thing, Kenny. People like that is great and fantastic, and that will please the majority. But we've all been to games, and anyone who's in this chat that's been to games, I'll give you an example. We was at that North London derby, the 4-2, when Eric Dyer nearly caused a riot. Yeah, you was right in front of that. He was down your side, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right in front of you. Well, not right in front of you, but he was literally just off left to you. Yeah, right. He nearly caused a riot. Do you think, these people that are sitting on these channels and going, oh, look at, Eric Dyer, get out of here, get out. Do you think that's what they're saying at the ground? They ain't. They're calling him every single name under the sun, mate. Yeah, they're howling abuse at him, right? So it's all well and good, and it looks good online. Oh yes, look, he's super pod. No, trust me, mate. Yeah, that nearly caused a riot. Yeah, that nearly caused a riot. Same with Dele Alli when he had the bottle thrown at him. And listen, I don't condone throwing stuff at people. Same with that Rodri the other day, or Cancelo, whoever it was. That was the family enclosure, and they're all throwing bog rolls and bottles and coins at him. Disgusting. But at the end of the day, what you see online it's a false image. Yeah, like if you go on Instagram, for example, you'll find it hard to find somebody who's not doctored a picture, mate. Yeah, because it's all.
I want to know how to. Oh yeah, I do actually know.
I don't do it either. Yeah, but you'll find it hard to find somebody that when you zoom in on their picture, you can barely see their face. Yeah, because unfortunately, that is the way of social media these days, that everything has to be seen as perfection. Yeah, that ain't how life is, mate. Yeah, it really ain't how life is. And the fact is, yeah, football fandom. Yeah, I'm not trying to be a football superstar fan. Yeah, I'm just trying for my club to be the best it can be. And luckily for me, touch wood, I've got into a position where I do this full time. Yeah, I'm unmarketable. I already know that. Yeah, I'm not dumb. But I could also go and flip and say, well, actually, I'm Arteta in. I've learned the error of my ways. I can see that there's progress, and I could have winged it and lied all the way through it. I ain't going to do that because I ain't a sellout, mate. Yeah, neither are you, and neither is Jez. And there's not many of us, because the majority of people, right, the amount of people that say to me, I can't believe how many subscribers this guy's got. You don't get paid for subs, mate. When you do, let me know. Yeah, you get paid for views. Yeah, and again, there's not many channels in the Arsenal community that get more views than me. Why? Because I say it as it fucking is, and people can gravitate to that. Yeah, the same as you two. You say it as it is, and like that's why we have so many people. There's over 400 people watching this when Man United are playing. Yeah, I didn't even know Man United were playing tonight.
I was looking earlier, trying to kill time, and the amount of views that the player ratings got, Kenny's fan cam, your fan cam, my fan cam. I just couldn't believe it, to be honest. I think it's the highest.
I dropped that player ratings, Jez, at what, 1:30 a.m.?
Yeah.
My time. I just went bang, dropped it, 1 a.m. my time, 1:30 a.m.
Like Kenny's, I think Kenny's fan cam was like 10K. I think last time when I looked earlier, mine was 6, 7.
Yeah, it was over 7.
Highest ever I've ever had.
No, you've had higher. I think you've had 10K before, Jez.
Oh, I don't know.
But it's up there, and this is the thing. It's like we weren't even ranting, we weren't screaming and shouting. Yeah, we're just saying it as real football fans that just want our club to be better and disgusted with that performance. Yours is on 8K, Jez. It's 7.8. I just looked at it now.
Well, okay.
Yeah, you know, Tony put something. Tony, Rolf put something about Claude and everything. Yeah, I think the problem with Claude in terms of like his social media going, even before the incident nearly 2 years ago, I think that there was a chasm between him and the other people in the fan camps where I don't think that that he was seen as marketable as the other
marketable people. That's the problem. It's all about the marketing.
I think that happened a few years before the final situation that happened. in terms of like the complaint and accusation. I felt that I don't know, but then again, I think he was just a victim of the fact that, you know, YouTube, in terms of like getting personalities on, they want younger people, you know, who can
Talk
connect
shit.
with 14 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They want a character.
It's,
That's what they want.
yeah.
They want characters.
And I think he is a character, but I think in terms
But
of
he's a character in a is too old. They want a young character.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The other people who were successful on the fan cams connected with younger people, and I've said that to the guys on many. I've said it to the two people. I said that, you know, both to them bothly, that, you know, they know a lot of, you know, youthful colloquialisms, and they can connect, because even though they're in their 30s, or one of them just was about to turn 40, they look young, they speak young, they dress young.
Oh, I can do all of that, Kenny. I don't look 40 this year. I can sit there and call people pussy and say blood and all of that crap, yeah? Right? But listen, this is how some of these people do talk, genuinely. Look, big up my boy Troops. Well done. He's grown up as well, by the way. Congratulations to him and Lily.
Oh, he's got married. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. Come on, big up Troops. But this is how a lot of
congratulations,
the
Mr.
younger
and Mrs.
generation
Hamilton.
do talk. But that gravitates towards the other channels out there, right? And then when you go on, and this is why I rate expressions, right? And I'm not trying to suck him off or anything like that. When he went on Sky Sports, he bamboozled them, mate, because he just went on there and did what he does anyway. They were like,
well, they didn't expect that. They didn't expect that.
They didn't have a clue what was going on. It was hilarious. Yeah, but that's why I rate him, because he went on there and he was himself. And that is how he is off camera, the same as Troops. But then I see a lot of people that are not like that. They're like that on camera. But then when we see them off camera, totally different people. Yeah, and it's like, why are you faking it? Yeah, but listen,
you've got to realise one thing right now. Unfortunately, nothing's changed, you know, since I first started working, since Judge first started working. If you toe the line, or dare I say it, mischievously kiss ass, then you will get further, because people in authority love to be flattered. Whether, you know what I mean? They love to be told that, you know, their hair looks great, and that they speak well, and that they're important. You know, important people like to be made to feel important. They love people to show them reverence. You know,
so
people who don't show reverence don't get on.
So the clout chasers, Kenny, exactly. So the clout chasers are the ones that love to be told, oh, that was great, that was amazing. But listen, we could harp on about this forever. We are going to wrap this up. We've done 30 minutes longer than we planned. And I do appreciate you both giving up your time, as always. Man United, it's going into stoppage time. It is still 1-0 to Man U. This has been a cracking game. Aston Villa deserves something as well, by the way. But
mate, you know where a loss is a loss. You know, Lee. We've been trying to say that all podcast.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, you can't fake being real for too long, mate, before eventually it comes on top. And yeah, I'm glad that we get so many people watching this show, and that's down to you two more than me. Yeah, you two have got more. I won't say age on side, I'll say experience. That's probably the politest way to say it. But your knowledge of the club, or between all three of us, but you two especially, ridiculous, man. Honestly, and I think like a lot of the people that are watching this ain't Arsenal fans. A lot of them are young as well, and are Arsenal fans. And I feel like every time we do this podcast, they learn so much stuff, and they love listening to the stories, and you know, they love
43 years I worked it out between us.
How long?
143 years.
Oh, well, that is long. You know that.
Wow.
You know what's happened, right? Is that, you know, like if Claude was still alive, can you imagine that you have to put
it'd be 200 years.
That'll probably be up to
Every
200
years between the four of us.
Love you as well, Tony. I don't think
we're going to roll for you as well, man. Proper
Chelsea. You want to see Liverpool again.
Yeah, proper Chelsea boy. Come on, big up. Make sure you subscribe to Tony's channel. Type that in, Chelsea SW6. Tony, you need to start uploading, man. I keep telling you this.
I've been telling you as well, Tony.
He don't listen. He's obviously doing too much at work. He's obviously earning too much. You know what I mean? But we are going to wrap this up. Thank you to everyone who has watched, especially when there's a cup tie on as well. I didn't expect so many numbers in here, if I'm honest. So thank you very much. Make sure you smash the likes up. Excuse me. And we will be back again on Saturday at midday for another podcast, the three of us again. And that'll be a little look forward to the North London derby on Sunday, and it'll probably be us licking our wounds from a defeat at Anfield. Fingers crossed that ain't the case.
No.
But you never know. And we're out of here. Any last words, Jez?
No, got to help us on Thursday night.
Any last words, Kenny?
You know what? I want to be optimistic, but I'll just say to Arteta, right? You don't have to, you know, you never listen to anything I'm going to say, but listen to this, mate. Don't play through the middle, mate. just hit the flanks, mate, and might have a chance of getting something. You play through the middle with that midfield we got. Oh God, help us!
Yeah, curtains.
And the flanks. And the flanks.
Big up to Flo Zanelli as well, my guy. Come on, man, real one, my guy.
Fine,
Appreciate it. And we're out of here, people. My final thoughts on it. Arteta the fuck out. Arteta fuera. Yeah.
Arteta
fuera.
Arteta prick.
Yeah.
Take the process with you, mate.
Yeah. Arteta fuera. Coño tinto.